And also new tonight, the Virginia City Council has approved hiring a forensic auditor to find where the city's missing sales tax revenue went. Perry Forensic will look into how money from a 1% sales tax went into the general fund instead of paying off bonding for an event center. Tonight, the council approved spending $80,000 to hire the company. Mayor Larry Cuffey opposed the resolution, saying that he thinks the city needs to clarify whether the state auditor can handle the investigation.
And I still think, and I mentioned this before, that we should ask the state auditor to take a look at it first. And if they can't do anything and they can't help us like they did in 2012, then we can go with the forensic auditor.
Councilor Liz Motley, who supports the audit, says she's already had conversations with the state auditor's office and says they did not indicate they could perform the audit.